Hi, I'm Catherine Mora. I am the head book coach and publishing director at Change Empire Books, where we help coaches, speakers, and aspiring thought leaders write beautiful books and get them out into the world. This is Kat's Book Chat, where every day I talk about topics on book writing, publishing, editing, promotion, the whole lot. So today's topic is what to ask your beta readers to do. Now, a beta reader is just an expression which means someone who reads your book before the final version is ready and is published. And basically, it's kind of part of the editing process. So we do help our clients with an editing process, like how to self-edit, how many times to do that. And one of the steps that you can take is having these beta readers. Now, it's really handy to have beta readers because they can give you feedback on how your book is received. Because with your book, you take for granted your own knowledge and it's hard to know what you might have left out, etc. So I like to have beta readers that have a range of knowledge. So some might represent your target client, some might just be friends. Some might be a bit out of the box kind of people. Some of my best feedback actually came from people who were absolutely not in my target market. People who I was a bit scared of giving my book to, actually, who I know to be very critical. And they actually gave great feedback that was really useful. So I would say, one thing I will say is that if you're writing a memoir, don't use family to do your beta reading, and only because they have their own perspective on your life, because they have played a role in your life, and they'll be more focused on how the book reflects on them and their recollection of the same events. So I do caution against that one. But other people, it's really good to get a bit of a variety of people. So you might invite a few people to do the reading, and then you might do call outs on social media and say, hey, does anyone want to read my book? Now, I like to give people a bit of advance notice, like, okay, everyone, I'm looking for beta readers to read my book on the 20th of this month. And I'm going to give it to you on the 20th and would need it back within a week. And basically, if you can't read it within a week, then don't worry about it. And that's because, like many things in life, or like all things really, people tend to take the amount of time that they've been given. So if you're given a day or two to do something, you'll usually do it in the day or two. If you're given a week to do something, it'll take you a week because you'll end up doing it on the last day or two. So beta reading is no exception to that. Give people a deadline, otherwise they'll just take forever. And if they can't commit to the deadline, then they're not the right person for that project. So not everyone will actually do it even when they've said. Sorry, I'm just closing some things on my computer. And also, people don't give very useful feedback at times. So they'll say things like, oh, I loved it, it was great. And your friends and colleagues, clients, whatever, want to please you and they love you and they want you to be happy, but that's not very useful feedback, right? I loved it, not that helpful. So I like to give them a list of questions, things like, what have I got here? Let's just, did you enjoy it? Obviously. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Did you feel like anything was missing? Did you not understand anything? Did it keep you engaged? Did it cover the topic in enough detail? Would you recommend it to others, or who would you recommend reads this? Things like that. So I usually come up with a list of questions for my clients, depending on what their book is about. Maybe just 6 to 10 questions that just cover a few things, and it gets them thinking about what to say to you other than, I enjoyed it. Some people will like a printed copy and some people like an electronic copy. One of the benefits about giving a Word copy is that people can actually put comments in there and track changes. So make sure they do track changes and they put comments in the review section so you can see what their feedback was. I found that really useful, especially because I had one beta reader that actually was a bit of a grammar Nazi and punctuation, and he went through and did all those things that I had missed, or they were certainly his subjective opinion on some of them. But it's great to have such a range of feedback. I love having beta readers. They're so handy for giving you perspective on your book before you put it out in the world. But remember, everyone's opinion is certainly subjective, and you can choose to ignore any or all of what they say. I hope that was helpful. I get asked about beta readers quite often. And yeah, if you've got any questions, drop them below in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to put a link below to my 45-step book writing and publishing checklist. And you are more than welcome to PM me at any time to ask about your book idea and if it might be a good idea for you right now. Until next time, Happy writing!